Okay, so this is day 5 on this project. It's Friday. It's Valentine's Day 2020, and we're about to start covering up on this project. Yesterday we were able to get our water supply. We were able to test and purge the sprinkler system. We were able to make sure that all the pipes and so on in the ground are fine, and everything is going where it's supposed to go, which is very important. And so we're about to cover up. And so before I cover up though, I just want to point out a couple of things that could be helpful to anyone who's looking to invest in an irrigation system in the future. So one of the things I want to point out is that this homeowner was very proactive. Before they put down a lot of their hard infrastructure, they would have commissioned someone to put in pipes and so on for irrigation, right? Now, that was very good, but the irrigation analysis was not that good, because what eventually ended up happening, or what would have happened, is that they didn't run enough pipes for the irrigation to make it very, very easy to implement, or efficient, or best. Right? So let me illustrate what I'm talking about. So the first thing is over here by these pipes. Okay, so this is in the front yard, and these two pipes here would have been installed to feed the irrigation system, right? That is very good, very nice. The problem is that 2 pipes mean 2 zones, while we actually have 4 zones in front here. We have 4 zones because we have a planter here, which is going to need to be fed with drip irrigation, right? And we have miscellaneous plants around that also will be fed with drip irrigation. We have 2 different dimensions of lawn, which is going to need 2 other zones. So that's 3 zones so far: the drip irrigation and 2 aspects of lawn. And we have the front area outside the wall, which is also going to need another zone of sprinklers. And so that's 4 zones in total, which should have meant 4 pipes here, but we only have 2 pipes. If we had all 4 pipes coming through here, then we would have been able to have all our sprinkler infrastructure at the back. So if everything were done, if we had the correct number of zones or the correct number of pipes having been sent to the front, that would have created the ideal situation, which is that everything would have happened from right here. This timer here would have been a bigger timer, because this is only a 4 zone right now, but we could have probably put a 12 zone timer right here, and that would have been able to manage all the irrigation for the entire property. So this manifold down here would have had all the valves for all the areas, and this timer would have controlled everything from right here, and you would have had 1 timer governing the system. But what we've had to do here is actually install or plan for 3 timers, because things are so separate, you know, and with not the right amount of zones weren't catered for, and in one case we actually didn't have any plumbing sent to that zone at all. So here we are still able to have 1 timer that is going to control about 3 areas, right? Hence why we have 3 valves here, and then we have other timers in, we're going to have other timers in other sections of the property. Okay, so this is one of the areas that it starts here and goes straight through along the side of the garage. This is one of the areas where there was no accommodation for irrigation, really. And that is especially coming from the water source, which is the particular tank and the particular pump that they have put in place for irrigation. And so in this area, we're actually going to have to take water from this line, which is the same line as, which is on the same system as the rest of the house. You know, the pipes in the house, the showers, that kind of thing. So we're going to have to take irrigation from here to feed this area here, because there's no way now, well, no feasible way to get water from where the water source has been set up to this area. There is a pipe over here that comes from our water source, but it won't be, but because we are controlling this from all the way across there, it doesn't make sense. We can't use this for more than one zone, because only one valve could control this pipe. If we were to use this, then we have to carry it all the way down there, or set up our timer system here, and then have several valves right here that would control here or there. And so if we try to use this, it's not going to make a difference really in what we have to do, except we'll actually use the appropriate source. But since you're only wetting plants, and it's a small number of plants across there, I think we're going to be doing fine with using the house water system in this case. In most cases, we use the house water system anyway. Okay, so now we'll do the audio. Okay, so this takes us back to the front of the house. And so because we didn't have enough zones coming in terms of pipes coming through here, we actually had to set up a manifold and a valve manifold and a timer and everything here. So in here, we actually have the valves, a pretty significant valve manifold set up, and we have a timer across here, and this is our biggest timer for this system. This is a 6-zone timer, and it's pretty nice. Wi-Fi, and you know, it comes with a phone app and all that good stuff. So this means that the homeowner will be able to manage the irrigation system from their phone and have a good idea of what's going on. Just to mention, we're also going to be installing a rain sensor, which is going to sense when rain falls to know if the system needs to come on or not. I think that's pretty cool. And so that's it basically for the tour of the control elements of this system, of this irrigation system. And so now I think we can go ahead and cover up. Another zone of sprinklers, and so that's 4 zones in total, which should have meant 4 pipes here, but we only have 2 pipes. So that's messed up. Now the thing is, if